Welcome students. In this tutorial, we will learn about a computer system. That is chapter 1 of your book IT Planet. Here, we will learn about a computer system. What are the benefits of using a computer system? The characteristics of a computer, maintaining the hardware, humanware, ergonomics. While reading through the chapter, you will see that some of the text are highlighted. So what does this represent? They are important and they often carries some definition or it's a keyword. So you have to memorize or give special emphasis to those words that are highlighted. You may mark those highlighted text in your book accordingly. Okay, so let's begin. What is a computer? A computer is an electronic machine that works as per instructions given by you or given by us. Who are we? We are the users. The computer works according to instructions given by the user. It can accept data through the input devices like the keyboard, mouse, scanner. These are all input devices. Manipulate the data according to some specified rules. That is, it processes the data and produce results. That is output. And then it saves the results for future use. These series of input, process, output and storage activities is known as information processing cycle. So what is an information processing cycle? The steps of accepting the data through the input device, manipulating those data according to some specified rules, and produce some results or output on the output devices. After that, storing the results for future use. So these steps, this series of steps of taking input, processing the input and outputting the data on the output devices and storing it on a storage device is known as information processing cycle. So what do we come across? We come across the terms data, information, process, storage, software, hardware and user. So what do we process? We process data that are collection of unorganized facts which can include words, numbers, images and sounds. Now, what are these unorganized facts? Unorganized fact means those are facts, those are figures, but they do not have some specific meaning or some usability. Those facts do not carry special meaning to something. For example, if we consider the number 50, will it have any meaning? No. If we write kg after this, it will mean 50 kg. Then you will understand this is a weight of an object. If I write kilometer instead of kg, it will be a distance. If I write rupees instead of kilometer, it will be some amount of money. So mere facts, mere figures will not represent or not have any meaning. Similarly, if I write a name of a person, right? Rahul, Ram, Arpit, Ankan. So what are these? These are names of person, but we cannot tell what is the age of the person, what is the age group, or what kind of features the person is having. But when we organize the data, when we have a complete collection of data, that is a record of the person, that is complete record, the address of the person, the phone number, the age, everything related to him, then we get a complete information about the person. So we need to organize it, we need to arrange it so that it bears a special meaning to something. For example, if I take the names of all the students of class 8 and then I arrange them in alphabetical order, then I will be able to see that there are how many students whose name begins with the letter A, how many names begin with the letter B, or how many of you are of age 12, how many of you are of the age 13, like this. So in this way we can identify, we can derive some information from the records. So for deriving information from the records, we need to organize them, and then only we can retrieve the information. So information refers to the data that is organized, has some meaningful and useful aspect. So how do we organize? We need to process them by using the processing device of the computer. The main job of the computer is to process data into information. Computer carries out processing into using instructions, which are steps that tell the computer how to perform a particular task. So, step by step, it follows certain instructions to process the data. Next is storage. You have processed the data, you have generated the information. Now, what you will do, you will store the generated result or generated output. For example, you have sorted or you have arranged the names in alphabetical order. Suppose you have arranged 400 names. So will you arrange it again when you need it afterwards in future? No. What you will do, you will simply store the arranged names or in the alphabetical order on your hard drive so that you can get the names for your future use. So that is how you keep the data stored or information stored on your hard drive. So why do you need to store it on your hard drive? Because whatever you have derived, it is temporarily stored in the primary memory of the computer, that is RAM. So unless you store it on a secondary memory or a permanent storage, it will be lost as soon as the power is turned off. So RAM will lose all its contents. So it is required to store the data on the hard drive. So as soon as you save it, it is stored in the hard drive of the computer and you can use it in the future. Next, software. So you are taking input, you are processing them, you are storing them. How you are doing all these things? You are doing all these by using a particular software where the instructions are written step by step, and when you execute the software on your computer, when you run the software on your computer, you get all the things done. Like the software gives you an interface for taking the input where you give the input using the input device. Then from the interface it collects the data, then it processes it, it sends it for processing to the processor. After it is processed, it displays the output on a separate screen. So therefore, thereby a software is a collection of related instructions organized for a common purpose and is referred to as a software. So it's a collection of related instructions. So step by step, the instructions are executed by the computer and the output is generated. Next is hardware. It is the part of the computer that you can touch and feel, such as keyboard, printer, monitor, speakers, and mouse. Unlike software, hardwares are tangible. You can touch them and feel. But softwares you cannot touch and feel. So hardwares you can see, you can touch and feel. Like the input devices, the output devices, and all the hardware peripherals you see on a computer are hardware. But the interface on which you are working, like a word processing software which you are using for writing a letter, it allows you to write a text or a letter, a paragraph, a story. You can check the grammatical errors in it. You can format the writing styles. You can format the font styles, and so many things you can do. In a spreadsheet software, you can analyze the data, like analyze figures. You can create charts. So different softwares allow you to do different kind of work based on their purpose. So softwares you need to use to fill their presence. When they are installed on your computer, you can use them and get the benefits out of it. But hardware you can touch and feel and use it for your purpose. Like you are giving input through a hardware, like an input device. You are using a light pen, you are using a mouse, these are all hardware. So you are instructing the softwares, you are giving input to the softwares through some hardware, and you are getting the output, the result of calculation on a hardware, that is the monitor or a printer. So softwares help you to do the work, help you to process, help you to send your data, send your instructions to the processor, and then generate the output. It gives you an interface to work upon, right? If there is no software, you will not be able to work with the computer alone with the hardware. Suppose you have only the hardwares like the mouse, the monitor, the keyboard, you have only the hardwares. So can you work only with them? No. For working with the hardware, you need to work you need to have some software to whom you will give a input. You are giving input to the interface of a software, and that software is carrying out the work, taking the input, processing the input, and generating the result. So that is how it works. So you need both hardware and software for your work to be done. And lastly, the user. Who is a user? A user is a person who communicates with a computer or uses the information it generates is a user. A person who communicates with a computer and uses the information is a user. Right? You are the user, one who is getting the output or taking the benefits of the output is a user. Whoever is using the computer or the end results of computation is a user. Okay, so I hope I am clear about the information processing cycle and the related terms like data, information, process, storage, software, hardware, and user. If there is any doubt, you will ask me questions in the comment section. Then I will try to clear those doubts in my next video. Right? Next, we will move on to the next topic, that is benefits of using a computer. What are the benefits of using a computer? So, we know that in our day-to-day life, in today's world, each and every work we do will take the help of a computer and a computer network. Starting from learning something, doing some entertainment, listening to music, watching movies, playing games, or some shopping activities. You do shopping through some e-commerce websites, purchase, scroll their catalogs, web catalogs, and select their items from the catalogs and make a payment through their payment portals with your debit card or a credit card. So you know that everything I have said, entertainment, like shopping, uh, banking, you have the automated teller machines. You are using a computer in each and every step in your day-to-day life. So let's see. Today, in the age of electronic revolution, the computer has become an integral part of our life. We can say that computers entered into each and every walk of our lives, either at home, at work, or at school. Most of our daily activities either involve the use of computer or depend upon the information derived from it. So, we depend on the computer in our day-to-day life. It has become an integral part of our life, right? People use all types and sizes of computers for variety of reasons in a range of places. Some computers sit on the top of the desks, so they are called desktop computers. Some sit on your lap and called laptop computers. Mobile computers and mobile devices are small and so they can be carried from one place to another. So there are three kinds of computer we can see nowadays. One is the desktop computer, the laptop computer, and the mobile or handheld devices. The mobile computers cannot be taken from one place to another because they are big. But the laptops can be carried from one place to another. They are the mobile devices, yet they are bigger than the mobile devices. If you take a smartphone, it is much smaller and much handy than a laptop. So a smartphone can be carried more easily than a laptop. So these are the three kind of computers you are using in your day-to-day life for doing your everyday life activities. Like what are the activities you are using in at home? You are using for some educational purpose, for some entertainment purpose, or at work also you are using it for your record keeping, your uh, employee management, employee record keeping, some records, keeping records of the business transactions. Each and everything you are doing with the help of a computer. So what is the benefit of this? There must be some benefit. That's why it is being used. What are the benefits? It is not that we are using it just to make a show off, not to make it. It will be something lucrative, and you are using the computer. It is not like that. It has enormous benefits, so it is using. So it is being used in our day-to-day life. It has become an integral part. So what are the benefits of using a computer, right? See, all these things at home you are using for entertainment, for learning. At office you are using for sending mails, memos, letters, calculating payrolls, tracking inventory, generating invoices. At the school, teachers are using it as a learning aid for teaching. You have seen while the teachers are teaching with the help of a smart board. So computers are used for teaching. In banks, it is used in ATMs, automated teller machines. So if you have a bank account, you can make transactions all over the world, and you can deposit or withdraw money from your account anywhere, anytime. So if there is no ATM, there is no such transactions anywhere, anytime. I hope you understand the facility of having anywhere, anytime. Like uh, if it is a manual case, if it is a manual transaction, you have to go to the bank, you have to take the money. The the bankers should be present in their offices in the banks, and they have to give you the money. But in the absence of the bankers, when the office hour, when it is not the office hours, you can still make transactions, you can withdraw money, you can uh, deposit money on your account, and that is only possible due to the computerized ATMs. Similarly, at the grocery store also, the storekeepers are using computers to keep track of the items, amount of money the customers are paying, everything they are keeping track with the help of a computer. They have got a customized uh, application software for it, and they are using it for that store management. Computers for entertainment, for playing games, for listening to music, for watching video, movie, reading a book, magazine, composing a video, retouching a photograph, planning a vacation, like this. So you can use your computer for entertainment, like this. So you have to memorize, you have to understand each and every point for your exam. Like how are they beneficial and for what are the different purposes that What are the different purpose of using a computer in our day-to-day life? The digital revolution is upon us. Technology continues to advance and computers have become an integral part of life. To be successful in this digital world, it has become essential that we know we know computer and we must be a computer literate. Being computer literate means you have the knowledge and understanding of computers and their uses. So it is essential to be a computer literate, right? Okay. Next, I hope you have understood the benefits of using a computer, right? Benefits, or the question may be like, what are the different uses of a computer? Okay, then also you have to write the same thing. Next comes the characteristics of a computer. Due to certain characteristics, the computers have become very popular and integral part of our day-to-day life. So what are the characteristics that made computer an integral part of our life? It is the speed. The speed with which they work is just phenomenal. Human beings will never be able to work at that speed. Although the human beings have made the computer, the human beings will not be able to work at that speed. So it's a machine and it has got enormous speed. The computer allows you to perform many tasks very fast. It can process large amount of data very quickly too. Inside them, inside the system unit, operations occur through electronic circuits when data, instructions and information flow along these circuits. They travel close to the speed of the light. This allows billions of operations to be carried out in a single second. If you if you mail a letter to a friend by postal service, he or she may receive it in few days. However, if you send an email, it will be received in few seconds or minutes. So that is a wonderful thing. If you want to send a letter to your friend, then through a postal service, you will need minimum 2 or 3 days for the letter to be accepted, received by your friend. It will take 2 3 working days, but it will reach in seconds if you are using a email. If you are using email, you can send that letter in seconds. So that is about the speed of computers. The computer can allow you to perform many tasks very fast. For example, if you want to add up 400 numbers, why I have said 400 numbers? It's very simple example. There are 400 students in class 8. For example, if I want to add up the computer marks of all the students and then take the average of it. What is the average marks in computer? Then how will I do? I have to add up the marks, all the marks. Then will it be possible for me to calculate it very fast and accurately? I think it is. The answer is no. It is, although it is possible, but it is not very feasible. I may be doing it correctly, but after one or two additions, I will get tired. But the computer will never get tired and it will carry out such additions, a number of such additions within seconds. So that is about the speed of the computer. I can calculate the average of 10 or 20 or maybe 100 as far is my requirement. I can calculate the average of the classes. Not only one class, not only for class 8, I can calculate it for more than 10 or 50 classes within just a minute. So that will not be possible by human effort. So that is about speed. Now quality. The computer enables you to create high quality documents and drawings. With just a few simple techniques, you can create documents and look professional and are exactly suited to your present task. So you know that you can create quality documents using the various softwares like MS Word, PowerPoint. You can use them to create quality documents and drawings. You can create presentations or you can create some documents of that is presentable in just few simple techniques. If you know the techniques of creating document, if you know how to beautify your document, you will be able to do it in a very short time. Next is reliability. Computers are reliable and accurate. The electronic components in modern computers are reliable because they have low failure rate. The high reliability of components enables the computer to produce consistent results. A computer never makes mistake by itself. It is true that sometimes the equipment fails, but most of the errors supposedly made by computers are actually human errors, often caused by someone hitting a wrong key while entering data in the computer. So it is reliable. Although you find a result, an unexpected result, you have to assume that the mistake is on the part of the user. The user has given some wrong input because of which it has generated some erroneous output. If there is no error on behalf of the user, the computer will never make or calculate a wrong result. Whatever the input is, according to the instructions, it will generate the right output. If the equipment does not fail, if the equipment fails, then then it cannot work properly. Then you cannot blame the computer for its uh, result. But if it is working properly, it will generate reliable and accurate results. Whatever be the number of computation calculation, like you have been calculating the averages for all the students within seconds, yet they are accurate. It is not like that it will just create any result, it will give any result, it will give the accurate result, the right result only. It will not give you anything. So you can rely on the results generated by the computer. So it has got speed, it has got quality, capability to create quality documents, and it is reliable. So what is the next characteristic? Next characteristic is the storage capability. It can store information. Computers can store enormous amount of data and take this data available for processing. At any point of time when it is needed, this storage capability has special importance in today's information age. A computer can transfer data quickly from storage to memory, process it, and store it again for future use. So, we all know it has got storage capability. It can store on its secondary storage devices like hard drive, the optical discs, the CD-ROM drive and the DVD-ROM drive, and it will be kept there permanently until there is no physical damage. So enormous amount of data can be stored. Which is very important also in this era of information. If you are lacking information, then you cannot compete, you cannot stay updated with the world, be you cannot take practical decisions, right? So having the information at right time is the characteristic we should maintain in this information age. So having a storage capability, good storage capability is mandatory. Next is versatility. Computer can perform repetitive jobs efficiently. Like I have said you, it can calculate averages, big summations and big calculations, whatever be it. It can be some divisions, multiplication, averages or anything. It will go on calculating or innumerously, okay, unendingly. It will never get fatigued. It can work in the areas where human brain cannot manage. Human brain will surely get tired and fatigued, but computer will never get tired. It will never be fatigued. For example, noticing the motion of very fast moving objects. They can also work with different types of data and information like graphics, audiovisual characteristics, etc. Now, can you identify the speed of a moving car, fast moving car? No. You can just see that a car is moving very fast in front of you. You can see it passed away. But if you have a speed sensor with you, a camera with a speed sensor, it will sense the speed of the moving vehicle, and the traffic sergeants use this device for measuring the speed of the moving vehicles. So all these are versatile uses of the computer. It can be used in places where human beings are not able to perform. Human beings will not be able to perform. So computers are versatile. Next is consistency. Given the same input and instructions, a computer will produce the same results consistently. So if a computer is given same input and same instructions, it will produce the same results. It will never produce different result. So that is called consistency. 5 plus 2 will always be 7 and it will never be 8. What is the instruction? Instruction is plus. What is the operation? Operation is plus. You want to add, then it will give you 7. You want to subtract, it will give you 3. 5 minus 2, it will give you 3. 5 plus 2, it will give you 7. A computing phrase known as garbage in, garbage out points out that The accuracy of computer's output depends on the accuracy of its input. If you do not use the flash on the digital camera when indoors, the resulting pictures that are displayed on the screen may be unclear because they are too dark. What happens when there is no flash in the dark room? You are taking a snap. Is there any light on the object? So what it is really catching? It is catching the rays of light on its photographic plates. If there is no light, then it is not catching anything, it is just catching the darkness. The object is not perceived, the reflection on the object is not perceived, and it will be a dark image, unclear dark image. So you have to, what it is here, a computing phrase, that accuracy of computer output depends on the accuracy of the input. If there is proper lighting on the object, then the image will be clear. The object comes on the image clearly. But if there is no light or insufficient light, the object will not be clear. So proper input will always give you proper output. You cannot just expect to get 5 plus 4 giving the input 5 plus 2. 5 plus 4 you have given, you will get the output of 5 plus 4, that is 9. If you expect to get 5 plus 2 and if you give the input as 5 plus 4, then it is not done. So consistent input, given the consistent input, the result will be the same, right? It is consistent. Next is communication. Most computers today can communicate with other computers, often wirelessly. Computers with this capability share any of the 4 information processing cycle operations, like input, process, output, storage, and with another computer or user. So, are you using anywhere for connecting to the internet when you are using the computers? Most of you are not using any wires. So how you are doing? You are doing it wirelessly using a Wi-Fi adapter. Your computer has a Wi-Fi adapter which is catching the radio signals given out by your Wi-Fi router, or it may be catching the internet signals from the service provider, internet service providers, like the Airtel, like BSNL, like Vodafone, like Jio. All these are internet service providers. They are having strong signals, they are providing strong signals, and your device, maybe a laptop or a smartphone, is catching your adapter. The device is having the adapter, it is catching the signal and you are getting the internet facility. You can communicate with a server that is connected to a internet, taking the services of the different servers that are connected to the internet, right? We will discuss about these client servers, about getting service from a server in the latter chapters. So we are communicating with other computers that are connected to the internet wirelessly. Next is increased productivity. Unfortunately, computers sometimes eliminate manual jobs, most notably in factories, but Computers also free human beings from other chores. Office workers who use computers do their jobs better, faster and efficiently. I hope you understand this point. It increases our productivity. So doing a long addition is not done by a human being easily. So when we do it using a computer, when we take the help of a computer, we can do it easily. Thereby, we can do many such additions in a short time. That is increasing our productivity. Decision making. Computers are used at various levels of decision making. Their use depends upon the nature of decision and the level of management. It is in essential business and governmental decision, managers need to take account of a variety of financial, geographical, logistical and other factors using problem-solving techniques originally developed by humans. Computer helps decision makers to sort through and organize the vast amount of information and thus make decisions. So, there are long steps of taking decisions and there are few parameters. So, softwares are designed, softwares have been made so that if you feed with the parameters, if you give the input parameters to the software, it will give you the result and it will help you in decision making. Maybe you have to calculate long steps for generate that result. So it is also helping the managers at different levels of a company for taking decisions. Okay. Faster communication speed. In the past, it took long time for any messages to be sent. Now with the help of internet, new messages are sent via email to friends, business partners, to anyone quickly and efficiently. It saves time and is economical too. So you just turn on your computer, open the mail application program and draft the message. Write the address of the friend, email address of the friend, click on the send button, it will be transmitted to the mail server. Your friend will log into the mail server to check the inbox and he or she will get the mail. So that is very fast. Communication has become very fast. So previously when there was no internet, people used to use the postal services and it would take days to reach a message. But now you can send message quickly and efficiently. Sharing information has become very easy. You can send, as you can send messages, you can also send files. You can send some audio clips, you can send some music videos, you can send some your art, you have drawn something, you can click it and send it to your friend, you can share with your relatives. So sharing information has become very easy. Not that you can only send some text messages, you can also send many kind of information. Like you have grown, if you have grown some garden, beautiful garden on your balcony, on your roof, you can take a picture of it, you can send it to your relatives or friends of whom you care about. So sharing has become very easy. Next is environment friendly. You can use computers to protect the environment. Computers have reduced the use of paper. because information can be stored and retrieved through digital medium. So when you store the information on digital medium instead of paper, you are reducing the use of paper, which is made from the pulp of the tree. So you are saving the trees, means you are saving lives. Trees are giving you life-saving oxygen, and you are saving them means you are saving life. You are saving the environment. So computer is environment friendly in that respect. Online communication via email, online chat, instant messaging also helps in creating paperless environment. So just think of if you have the necessity of sending so many messages through paper, and had there been no email communication or there been no chatting uh, possible, no network is there, then will you be able to send so many messages paperlessly? No. You would be requiring so many papers to be sent, so many letters to be sent. So it is saving the. Okay. So that's all with the characteristics of computer. You can see there are 12 points, all the 12 points discussed. Now, what you can do with a computer? We will discuss this in the next video. You learn this and go through the chapter up to this. If you find any problem, any difficult words, mention it in the comment section. I will include that in my next video. Okay, and we will continue from here in my next video tutorial. Thank you all.